This is VSiN By The Books on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Hour number 2 of a Friday edition VSiN By The Books. Great to be with you. Jensen Lewis alongside Keith Irizarry. Super Dave Ross will be back on Monday in his customary post. Mentioned it's always great when we get our guests multiple times per week, including some big time matches here on the pitch. But we get to catch up with a great friend of the program, Billi Bhatti. You follow him at SGP Soccer on social media. He joined us on the Progressive Guest Line, live and in living color from Dubai there in the UAE, 4 o'clock local time there. Billy, great to have you with us. I know earlier in the week we were talking a little Crawford and Canelo fight. I give you the floor, my friend. It was a great handicap for our viewers and listeners who had us earlier in the week. For those just joining us today, size it up for us, handicap for us. Where do you like this fight?
Yeah, so I'll nutshell very quickly what the point I made before I was going to break down the fight, which is basically promoter influence has been reduced. Your Eddie Hearns, your Don Kings, your Frank Warrens, these people that used to make the fights and used to look ahead to the money fights that were coming up ahead, that's not the case anymore. It's another question entirely. One day maybe we'll do a big boxing show. One day maybe we'll have an hour. Maybe I get to the VSiN studio for the fight in Vegas in September, because I know it's just the week after week 1 in the NFL, and I've been promised a spot at Stadium Swim for week 1. So maybe then we can talk about, does boxing even need promoters anymore when Turkey Al-Sheikh's paying out all the money, and now we're getting fair scorecards? And if there are fights that are coming up ahead and they don't end up happening, then Turkey will just make another fight. So Canelo Alvarez is one of the people who has massively benefited from favorable scoring throughout his career. I'm not taking away from his legacy. I'm not saying he's not one of the greatest fighters of all time, but the fact that he has 2 losses to me is quite controversial. Bivol and Mayweather both beat him quite convincingly. So then you get to Terence Crawford, who for me is the pound for pound #1 boxer in the world. He's moving up a lot. The dangers when you move up is that you could get caught and you could get knocked out, because obviously Canelo's bringing a lot more weight to this fight. But if Terence Crawford doesn't get knocked out here, he's a plus 150 underdog. I don't think he's going to stop Canelo. So then you move over to the decision. So I ask you the question, can Terence Crawford win 21 minutes, which is 7 rounds? Can he outbox Canelo for 21 minutes when Canelo is slowing down? He's lost a lot of rounds before. He lost to Lara. He lost rounds to Amir Khan, who was a smaller fighter. He's older. He's slower. Maybe his power is reducing. He's coming into this fight off the back of 6 straight decisions. So he's not knocking people out anymore. So if Terence Crawford can survive, do you think plus 250 looks too big for him to have won 21 minutes of this fight at that point?
Go ahead, Jensen. I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, I to be honest with you, Billy, I think it is a fascinating, dichotomy of where the styles are, and I'm with you. I mean, the conditioning of it, the ability to land the power would be fascinating to see. And again, Canelo Alvarez minus a $2.15 favorite. Terence Crawford there on the comeback, as you mentioned, plus $1.65. It would be for any place that has live betting and allows you to do it during the fight. I think it would be really intriguing to watch early stylistically to see where it's going, and then perhaps jump in a live opportunity that makes sense. So great stuff, Billy, on the Canelo in the Crawford fight there. Let's shift gears now to the El Clasico. And again, one of the featured matches on the pitch every single time that it does happen. Size it up for us. Who do you like and why?
Well, it's not a case of who I necessarily like, but situationally, Real Madrid absolutely need to win this game. They're 4 points behind. They've had a bad season by their standards. Whenever you don't win the Champions League when you're Real Madrid, it's not a good season. When you lose a cup final to Barcelona, and Barcelona are going to win the league, that's a bad season, especially when you won the Champions League last year and now you've signed Kylian Mbappe. It's not Mbappe's fault. He's made the right contributions that he's supposed to make. His goal tally is good enough especially for his first season. In fact, it's excellent. So in this situation, you have Barcelona, who have 120 minutes in their legs. They've beaten Real Madrid 3 times this season, but the last time they beat them in the Cup, it was a little bit less convincing. Real Madrid absolutely have to win this game. I think the one lock here, and it's probably even going to be juiced if you do it this way. If you take the over 2.5 goals, you combine it with both teams to score, there'll be no clean sheets here. It'll be toe-to-toe. But this is Real Madrid's best opportunity to beat Barcelona and close this gap down to 1 point. And then when you look at the final 2 games ahead, Barcelona's running is more difficult than Real Madrid. So I'd probably be looking at what Real Madrid are in the futures market and sprinkling on that instead, because I think this will be a significant blow to land, and I can see Barcelona dropping more points. But with 120 minutes in their legs, I don't want to be taking Barcelona as a favorite here in this spot.
Billy, over in Liga Portugal, you got a couple of teams tied atop the table, 78 points. They square off tomorrow. How do you see that one playing out?
Well, if we look at the league table, we will see. If you guys look at the league table like while you're watching this, you'll see that they're tied together completely. And what's most significant about that is that Bruno Amorim, who went to Manchester United, he left Sporting Lisbon he won the title last year, and he left there with a significant lead, which has been eaten into to the point where Amorim's successor was replaced, and they had to bring in another manager after that. So it's a really difficult role to fill. If Sporting lose this title, it would be, I wouldn't say it would be embarrassing given the fact that they haven't really been in the title picture for a few years before Amorim was there. But it would be a massive shame for the supporters if they were to relinquish this. For this particular game, I think, contrary to how Portuguese teams play front foot football, I think there is value on the under. Both teams impressive defensively. It's going to be a tight and cagey game. It's kind of like a cup final. If you look at the league table, the winner wins the league. Barcelona have conceded 26 in 32. Sporting have conceded 13 away goals this season in 16 matches. And they're not going to want to give anything up to each other. So this is going to be a very different Portuguese game. It's going to be tight. It's going to be cagey. There's going to be men behind the ball. And if you come away with this with a draw, the league table stays exactly as it is, which is basically goal difference.
Great stuff. Billi Bhatti joining us live and in living color from Dubai. Follow him at SGP Soccer on Twitter. He's joining us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Okay, let me give you a 2-for-1, Billy. I know we talked a little Premier League. We know that league is done. Liverpool has the title wrapped up. Arsenal loses a tough match to Inter in the Champions League. So kind of depending on where the mentality is for them, intriguing little match. But more so now, we have Newcastle and Chelsea, and those two teams currently tied for 4th place. As we know in that table, that's a huge spot there in the Premier League. How do you feel for that match, things shake out, and what it means long term?
Yeah, I mean, you've got a pack there. So you've got Arsenal and Man City look like they're going to make the Champions League. I say this every week to people when I come on, just because the way that you see the markets, the futures market, it always talks about top 4. We're so conditioned to look at the top 4 for the Champions League. But because of the new rules, because of the new way the Champions League is done, the best 2 performing countries now get 5 spaces. That's going to be the EPL. And the even crazier development yesterday, it's official now, Tottenham and Manchester United, 2 bottom half teams in the Premier League, are going to play in the Europa League final. There's going to be 6 Premier League teams in the Champions League. And all of Europe is quite upset about this because they think that's excessive, that we're going to get 6 teams in there. But it's only going to be the top 5 for the league. So either Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa, Newcastle or Chelsea will miss out, which is why this game is so important. Chelsea don't travel well to the top half. They've only won 1 game this season against teams in the top half, which is when they played Bournemouth. Newcastle come into this one with 5 straight wins at home. They do not have the cup hangover. So after winning a trophy, which is what Newcastle fans desperately wanted, because for those of you guys that aren't familiar, Newcastle is a massive city in England with massive supporters. So it's not Manchester, Birmingham or London, but it is next. So they wanted this for a long time, but there hasn't been a hangover. You usually see that with teams who reach their goal. You see a hangover. They've not done that. They've won 5 straight home games. And I would lean them on the Asian handicap market at 0.25. One day when we get more time, I'm going to explain Asian handicap markets, Asian goal line markets to bring everyone up to speed with soccer. But it's maybe listed in your book as 0.25 Newcastle would be the side I would lean towards. If the game is a draw, you get half your money back. So you're not fully invested on the money line.
Hey, Billy, really quick in like 30 seconds. Champions League, the final, Inter Milan, PSG. Just a quick take on your feel on that one.
Yeah, I think PSG's a sexy pick. It has been from the start because they've had the tougher path, and they haven't had the tougher path, but they've looked better in getting through. They've had a fun path. For me, as a Manchester United fan, I don't get behind the other English teams, so I've been a PSG supporter. I've watched them plough through the English teams, and it's been fun. But Inter Milan, they destroy games. They play with that compact style, and they put men behind the ball. They're defensive, and everything they've done so far works on the counter attack. So I'm worried that Paris Saint-Germain will fall at this final hurdle, especially if Inter Milan can give up on the league. If they drop out of the league title race this weekend, it gives them equal time with PSG to prepare. So at the moment, my lean is PSG. But if Inter Milan do relinquish the Serie A title race early, then I would lean towards them.
Billy, where can everyone find your great content besides following you on Twitter there at SGP Soccer?
Yeah, I'm at SGP Soccer. You can find me over on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. I'm the host of the Soccer Gambling Podcast. So there's an EPL show out this week where I cover every EPL game. To get my plays that go towards my spreadsheet, head over to lockbetting.com. I've not had a losing month there. I've got 143 months in a row of profit. It's all verified by spreadsheets. I know it sounds crazy, but it's verified by spreadsheets, which is verified by existing members.
I love it, buddy. Great to catch up with you. All the best, and we'll talk again very soon.
Cheers, guys.
All right, there he is, Billi Bhatti, live and in living color from Dubai. Highlights and headlines coming up next. Everything from yesterday's action, previewing tonight, and so much more. Come on back, VSiN by the books.
You're tuned in to VSiN by the Books, right here on VSiN.
All right, thanks to Billi Bhatti for jumping on with us way across the pond, all the way from Dubai, 4 o'clock Eastern time, 4 o'clock local time. It's not Eastern time. It's 8:15 Eastern time. Here, as you're joining us, Sirius Channel 158, and appreciate everyone watching on the VSiN Watch app, VSiN.com. Keith, been a lot of fun to jump through all kinds of different things with you. We'll get to our highlights and headlines in a moment. Lou Finicaro coming up at the top of the hour. We'll talk all things UFC 315, get his thoughts on that, maybe a little college baseball as well. Daily Diamond coming up too. But for now, our highlights and headlines. Let's do it.
Help your bottom line with today's highlights and headlines.
All right, I can't win a hockey side to save my life. We are a 100% transparent operation here, as Dave and I always talk about, Keith. So Edmonton, I tip my cap. I mean, it feels like they are right at home, Keith, when they are behind early because they hit another gear. They did it again yesterday against VGK. They needed overtime to win, but they get it done. Now leading this series 2-0. 5-4 the winner there. Leon Draisaitl, your game winner, and stunning a T-Mobile crowd that I think really felt that this one would be the series equalizer. 6 straight playoff win for Edmonton. And Keith, you hit the nail on the head. We still have yet to get Connor McDavid to light the lamp. Yeah. Boy, oh boy. Fantastic start to this series for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, so again, in game 1 of this series, I told you when Vegas was winning, Edmonton was outshooting them 23-11 at the time. It was just a matter of time before they would find the back of the net, right? Game number 2, we talked about it yesterday. I thought Edmonton was going to win this game. I just think Edmonton's the better team. I think they have the better players, and I think they're poised to get back to the Western Conference Final again. All right, let's go a little bit further, too. I want to make a comparison for you. So we have the NBA playoffs going on right now and the Stanley Cup playoffs going on right now. The Edmonton Oilers are the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks are the Edmonton Oilers. And there are many layers to this, right? So 6 comeback wins for the Edmonton Oilers. They seemingly don't fret. They don't get scared if they're down by a goal or 2. They know they've got the horses in the stable to bring home a win. The Knicks are kind of the same way, right? So the Knicks have been down by 20 in both of the first two games against the Boston Celtics, and they don't get worried either. They've got Mr. Clutch, Captain Clutch, and Jalen Brunson. They got the guy, Mikal Bridges, who you gave away 975,000 draft picks just to bring him into your organization for this series against the Boston Celtics, and then a bunch of the other guys like Cat and OG, and we can go on and on and on. So I think there's comparisons there to be had. I say all that to say this. I don't know if the Knicks win the series against the Celtics, but I really feel strongly that Edmonton will win this series. I think they just clearly are the better team, and I think they have that gumption, that factor that gets them the wins too.
A gargantuan series price, as you mentioned, Keith, right now with Edmonton being up 2-0, headed home to home ice. How about minus 550 on the series price? VGK 4-1 now to be able to come back from down 2-0. And probably more importantly, if you feel that VGK does it, you're better off maybe looking at a Stanley Cup future for them at 18-1, because knowing who they could potentially match up with in that other Western Conference series, that would probably behoove you to look at maybe a higher payout and a better odds. Speaking of that other series, that will be the Dallas Stars and the Winnipeg Jets. That again will get underway at 9:40 Eastern time, 122 minus $1.22. Winnipeg still a slight favorite against the Dallas Stars. They will need to get that win to equalize that series. Tough news in Major League Baseball here. Our other highlight and headline to give to people: it was yesterday afternoon we learned that Derek Shelton has officially walked the plank in Pittsburgh. He has been relieved of his managerial duties after the club started 12-26 for the season. Overall, here, Keith, Shelty 306 and 440. Remember, he was hired back in November of 2019. The quote from General Manager Ben Cherington: "There is a lot of baseball left to be played. We need to act with a sense of urgency and take the steps necessary to fix this now to get back on track as a team and organization." I got news for you, Ben. Take that quote and send it to your owner, Bob Nutting, because you had all the time in the world this offseason, knowing you've got a generational talent in Paul Skeens, to be able to reinforce this team with better offense. You didn't do it. And now, what did you expect Derek Shelton to do? That's like going to a gunfight with a knife. Yeah, you got to be kind of creative, but you got to get out of the line of fire. And unfortunately, Keith, Derek Shelton, unable to finish this campaign for a guy who was so well liked, at least for the first handful of seasons. I think perhaps the message also not getting through to that group as they are 12-26 beginning play today.
It's a poorly constructed roster. And you nailed it too, because Skeens looks like he is all-world, generational, future first ballot Hall of Famer. But let me ask you a question. Who do you think of qualifying players? Who do you think leads the Pittsburgh Pirates in batting average? What do you think? What's your guess?
Well, I mean, again, because Brian Reynolds came back from injury, I would probably say O'Neal Cruz at this point.
Yeah, no. So it's not Brian Reynolds. It's not O'Neal Cruz, who, by the way, is batting .246, has 15 stolen bases, eight home runs. He's a solid player. We know that. No, it's Andrew McCutchen. And I love Andrew McCutchen. But, I'm pretty sure you were still playing when McCutchen was winning MVPs and you've been out of the league for a while. So, how old is Andrew McCutchen? What are we going to guess? 39?
39. He should be 39. And it's funny you bring him up because he and I came up playing against each other as a young champion back in the day. So he is a couple years younger than me, but you're right. I mean, the fact that he's hitting 3-hole for you tells you all you need to know. It's not Derek Shelton's fault. It's certainly a look in the mirror moment for ownership and that front office too.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that need to be fixed in that organization. It's not just the manager, but you've been around the game forever. I've covered the game for forever, and all professional sports, really. When something needs to change, it's usually a manager or a general manager maybe, but usually it's a manager. They're the ones that get, their head gets chopped off, and the organization's like, well, see, we did something. We made a change, and let's see if it works. It usually doesn't if your roster is also poorly constructed. This season, probably not going to be a good one for the Pirates.
Yeah, Pirates, as you mentioned that 22-1 to make the postseason. If you want to jump in on that, if you think that they can find their way back in the National League Central, I got a bridge to sell you over dry land because the Pirates are 100-1 to win the National League Central. Don't worry about that though, because summertime is a great time to head out to Vegas and enjoy much more than a Pirates future ticket because we have such a great deal at Circa Las Vegas. It is the all-in summer promotion. $400 gets you a 2-night stay at Circa, a $100 dining credit, a $100 beverage credit, and your very own daybed at Stadium Swim. And we know the party never stops there. Also, those resort fees and taxes, that's included in that $400 price tag as well. Limited time offer, though, stays between May 26th and September 4th. So don't miss out. Lock in your all-in summer package now at circalasvegas.com. I know we're going to jump into our Daily Diamond coming up here in just a moment, but 30,000-foot view here, and I almost felt like it was a mini rant. Again, I've known Derek for a long time. He was our hitting coach in Cleveland when I came up as a rookie there in 2007. It is remarkable in baseball, and Keith, you and I are very close to this situation, just knowing how the economics work. But my God, I mean, your fans are coming out and selling out every fifth day when Paul Skeens is taking the mound. Do something. And he even said it himself towards the end of spring training early in the regular season, too, reiterating like, hey, man, this ain't show friends. This is show business. Like, let's get going here.
Shelton wasn't set up for success, unfortunately. And I know you know him. Like, this was not a good situation. And I think that this goes across the landscape of a lot of different sports and a lot of different teams. There are just some organizations that don't set themselves up for success. Really quickly, by the way, I just want to follow up on something from Billi Bhatti in the previous segment. He was up in Dubai, and I have a really controversial take for you. Have you had the Dubai chocolate? Have you tried it yet?
No.
You've been privy to this?
No, I have not.
Really controversial. So it's gone viral, very very much of like the TikTok, sensation stuff. It's not good. It is very bad. Okay? That's my controversial take of the day. Dubai chocolate was disappointing. I was very unpleased.
Well, all I can tell you, the greatest thing to come out of Dubai this week is Billi Bhatti wearing the basketball PSG jersey, and that was all the handicapping I need in that Champions League second leg, taking PSG to win it there. I think plus 125 got that price. We will have plenty of great pricing and great items for you to choose from. Coming up next in our Daily Diamond, everything that you need to look at from a player prop market, and we definitely did a great job the last couple of days giving you some winners. Those and much more when we come back on VSiN by the Books.
You're tuned in to VSiN by the Books right here on VSiN.
All right, halfway home here on a Friday edition of VSiN by the Books. Top of the hour, we'll catch up with our great friend Lou Finicaro. Will give us a great look at the card for UFC 315. Also, our friend here from VSiN, a lot of great content up on VSiN.com, especially if you're a pro subscriber. Zach Cohen will join us at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour Eastern time. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Today, our edition of the Daily Diamond. Okay, we can't sing on the show, but it just came to me when I was thinking about how great the Detroit Tigers season has started. So it was a pretty easy headline for me, Keith. Motor in. That's it. Because that's what Detroit, the Motor City Kitties, have been doing. They have run roughshod, all right, over the league to this point, decimating the Colorado Rockies in both ends of a doubleheader yesterday. 10 or more runs in both those games. And how about when they come home? It is not been close here. 12-4 on the run line for Detroit at Comerica Park. That's the best mark amongst American League teams. And Tarek Skubal, who gets the ball tonight, 21 strikeouts, 1 walk in 17 innings thus far in his home start. So mine leans pretty easily here. The under on the earned runs, you have to pay a little tax, okay? I've seen upwards of $1.60, $1.70 there. Also the same way with the Tigers race to 3 runs. It's Patrick Corbin Day here, Keith. So, I mean, this aligns perfectly, right, for Detroit domination yet again?
It does, and with Skubal too, because he actually pitches 6 innings for the most part every game. I'll take the over on his strikeouts too. So 8 or more strikeouts, 3 of his last 4 starts. The over is set at 6.5. The best number I saw was -138. So obviously shop your books and see if you can get a better price there. But I'll go over 6.5 strikeouts for Skubal.
I like that. I think that's fair. And just realizing the struggles that have been there for the Ranger offense. Again, a really great opportunity to yet again, if you want to take Detroit on the money line right now, one of the early games of the evening slate there at Comerica Park. As I pull up the lines here for you, Detroit right now -270. Oh my God, -270 home favorite, but they are -$1.18 on the run line. So if you want to look at that, if you want to ladder that, that could be a way to go there if you want to back the Tigers. Speaking of backing, how about rested and ready here, Keith? Teams with the best over records with a day off in between games. How about these numbers for you? The Seattle Mariners are a perfect 6-0 to the over, and they've been hitting the over by an average of almost 4 runs in those games. Okay, yes, finally the Seattle Mariners could score. We just talked about the Pittsburgh Pirates, perhaps a little bit of an infusion here with Derek Shelton being let go. They 3-0-1 to the over by almost 2.5 runs. The Athletics, who will host the New York Yankees there in Sacramento, death taxes in the over in Sacramento. And then the Nationals have been very solid as well, 5-1 to the over, but that is a gargantuan average by almost 6 runs to the over. My leans here, we just follow those games, right? Pick your poison. Atlanta and Pittsburgh, the over there, St. Louis and Washington, the Yankees and the Athletics from Sacramento. Just your thoughts there on those numbers. Pretty eye-popping to me, Keith.
Well, they are interesting, and I'm just kind of looking. So the Pirates still did not announce a pitcher yet, so hard to pick that game. So we'll wait on that one. Blue Jays are at Seattle. Castillo's on the mound for the Mariners. Gausman going for Toronto. So I think Seattle should be able to continue their ways to on this track. And then the Cardinals and Washington, Fedde versus Parker. Okay, nothing too exciting there. And the Yankees and the Athletics, you got Warren going for the Yanks, Beto going for the Athletics. I'd probably lean Yankees there too to get some runs, which should lend itself to the over. I'm feeling good about the over in Atlanta and Pittsburgh, even though I don't know who the pitcher is for Pittsburgh yet. Feeling good about the over there, feeling good about the over on the Yankees and the Athletics.
DraftKings listing the Braves with Bryce Elder and the Pirates with Bailey Falter there as the starting pitcher for Pittsburgh,
so
over 9. Yeah, and you're getting a little plus money here, plus 102 to the over there, Braves and Pirates from PNC Park. How about a 10.5? We're finally getting some double digits hung here in Sacramento. Yankees and Athletics, 10.5. Obviously, juice to the over there. No shocker, minus $1.18 if you want to back that spot. We love backing some leading lefties here, and we mean by left-handed hitters. Some stark numbers, Keith, to have some batter versus pitcher matchups headed into tonight's slate. Mariners, we talked about the over and how they've hit with the day off. So let's go right there. Cal Raleigh against Kevin Gausman, 3 bombs and 11 career at-bats, a .455 average. Corey Seager got the day off yesterday, and normally I would not advocate a lefty going up against Derek Skubal, but you can't get away from the he's just seen him well. 6 for 9 for with a double, and then Freddie Freeman's won an absolute heater this week. How about a .500 average, 6 for 12, a double and a homer career against the lefty Eduardo Rodriguez. So my leans tonight, Freddie Freeman, 2 or more total bases. And then let's do a little hit parlay. Cal Raleigh and Corey Seager to both record a hit. Put that parlay together, and you should be able to get some plus money or at least near it. Thoughts on where these leading lefties have been in their career numbers versus those respective pitchers?
And listen, Seager against Skubal on paper, forget, like if you didn't actually read that Seager hits Skubal well, you'd be like, no, I'm not into that. But you've got data, so I can rock with you there. My favorite one here is Freddie Freeman. Freeman is absolutely blazing hot right now. So if we just kind of look at what he's done over the last 12 games. So he's topped the 2 bases, 8 of the last 12 games, over 1.5 bases, 6 of his last 8 games, over 1.5 bases in 3 consecutive games, has a 12-game hitting streak, going into Thursday night. He had a 12-game hitting game going into last night. So over 1.5 total bases, minus 110 on DraftKings was one of the numbers that I saw. I am all in, and I would consider adding that to my best bet list.
Again, when you look at where the Dodgers are at this point, Roki Sasaki, Eduardo Rodriguez tonight, Dodgers a short road favorite, minus $1.22. The Diamondbacks on the comeback, plus $1.02. That total also at 10. Keith, we've got some monster totals now starting to show up for the night. Largest total, no shocker here, which I'm already on, the over 11 in Colorado. That's Padres and Rockies. It's now moved up to 11.5. So got the better of the number there. If you're a VSiN Pro subscriber, already have that one in pocket, and you got that one early. So 11.5, the highest total on the board. Mentioned the 10.5 there in Sacramento. We have a 10 in the desert tonight. The way the Dodgers are going and the Diamondbacks offense, you would think with the inconsistency that Roki Sasaki has had, perhaps they get to him a bit early. So starting to see some double-digit totals here in Major League Baseball. Some interesting offensive numbers to be able to back there. The road to Omaha for you college baseball fans, we're getting down to it. Last couple of weeks of the regular season, we'll be into conference tournaments, and then the regional sites will be announced here in just 3 weeks' time. So went through, Keith, a bit of the secondary markets, if you will. These are value options we'd recommend to make the College World Series. And for people that don't know how the setup is, they are there'll be 16 different regional sites, 4 teams at each site. The winners of that will match up in the super regionals. And right now, as you're looking at that list, Georgia at even money, they are projected to be the number 5 national seed. Texas is projected as the number 1 overall seed, so getting them at almost 2-1 to make it to Omaha. I mean, that's pretty good. Both Florida and Oregon State priced the same at plus 310. Oregon State right now, Keith, projected as a 14 seed in their regional. Coastal Carolina has been one of the great stories all year. That's Conway, South Carolina, for those of you looking to find it on the map. They'd be an 11 seed right now. And West Virginia, a team that I saw last year in the Tucson regional, they have been unbelievably good this year. Maybe one of the best stories you don't hear a lot about. They out of Morgantown would be the 12 seed projected to host that regional, plus 450. They would match up against Georgia. And so giving out Georgia at even money, West Virginia at plus 450, potentially an opportunity to be able to have some arbitrage there. But again, those are value selections just based on the odds to be able to make it to Omaha and qualify for the College World Series.
I like Coastal Carolina. I know you're closer to the college baseball world than I am. I follow from a little bit further away, but the thing that I'm seeing is that they have 3 highly productive starters. So if you have pitching can win in the postseason. I think Coastal Carolina has a chance there, and I like the odds there at almost 4-1 odds.
No doubt about it. And again, you got horses to be able to run not only through the regional, but the super regional as well. You're going to be in a great spot to qualify for Omaha. Speaking of great spots, Edge Boost is the place to be. First ever bank account built for bettors, and all your gambling transactions are approved. Again, no usage fees, no minimums. You get cashback rewards and 100% approval for all of your betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code BOOK. Deposit $25, and EdgeBoost will match that deposit. Again, that's edgeboost.bet. Sign up with promo code BOOK today. We have some news or noise coming up, and we have maybe a late edition. The saga continues from Chapel Hill. Updates on Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson. And hey, the New York Football Giants, they added another weapon. Are they going to be for real here? Plus the Pope moving futures odds. All that when we come back on VSiN.
You're tuned in to VSiN by the Books right here on VSiN.
About 15 minutes, we'll catch up with our great friend on the program, Lou Finicaro, get us a preview of UFC 315 taking place tomorrow. And also the great Zach Cohen will join us at the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour, talk all things NBA, some of the great content he has up at vsin.com. Again, Make sure you're checking that out every single day. A lot of great things that you can garner from that. A lot of great leans and angles. But for right now, I must ask this question to my man Keith Irizarry. Is it news or is it a whole lot of noise?
Is it news?
Corleone is a man who insists on hearing bad news immediately.
Or just noise?
Are you going to act like this is news?
Just noise. This is noise. Let's separate the impactful from the insignificant with one simple question. News or noise?
We had white smoke from Vatican City yesterday, and we now know who the new pope is. Shout out to Pope Leo the 14th, American-born, the first American pope ever. And what did you know it, Keith? The pope is already moving futures odds, so much so to the point our very own Grace Remington fabulously capturing some of the odds movement. And again, for people that don't know, Pope Leo XIV, originally from the south side of Chicago, a Villanova graduate, but Grace capturing that the Knicks odds to win the finals, after we got the announcement, and maybe within an hour of it, the Knicks odds to win the finals dropping from 17-1 to 13-1 in a matter of 20 minutes at DraftKings. Keith, news or noise that Pope Leo XIV influencing the futures markets just hours into his new job?
Jensen, you know where I'm from, right? Go ahead. Tell everybody, where am I from?
Yeah, you're from the New York area. You're from around.
Thank you very much.
Exactly where this is the most influenced odds market to date.
Yes. So, born and raised New Yorker, and I'll say it like that on purpose. Hey, we walk in here. I'll turn into every stereotype of New York. And you and I, off the air, have talked about this a few times, like what New York radio sometimes is like and how, let's say, eccentric some of the New York fans can be when things are going well. This is the biggest piece of news in the history of news for New York fans. Nova Knicks, you're winning the NBA title. Stamp it. You should bet the house on this. Like every aspect of the go New York, go New York. No, it's like go Leo, go Leo, go. Like every part of this is news in New York. Elsewhere, it's noise.
I was just putting it together. The Knicks and the Bears, because he is from the south side of Chicago, Pope Leo. The Knicks to win 13-1, parlay with the Bears, 35-1 Super Bowl. It's 500-1, basically, at DraftKings. So that is what it is.
Well, one half of that's going to happen. Here. The Knicks are going to win.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Staying with the New York theme, news or noise here. So we learned yesterday that Gabe Davis, who is actually, a guy that was a pretty prized free agent for the Jacksonville Jaguars, has now signed with the New York Football Giants. 1 year, $8.5 million. He was just 1 year into a 3-year, $39 million deal 14 months ago that he inked with Jacksonville. News or noise here for Gabe Davis joining the GMAT?
Light news. Listen, here's the deal with Gabe Davis, as the book would read. A good touchdown guy, big body guy that can catch the ball, but not a great route runner. So the question becomes, does he need to become a better route runner? Or because you have Malik Neighbors on the other side and he's always going to be going up against the number 2 or the number 3 corner for the opposing team, can it work out? I'll say like a smidge of news didn't really move the needle necessarily for me, especially because of what he did in Jacksonville. A smidge of news.
Giants 20-1 to win the NFC East right now, and still a massive long shot to win the NFC overall, 80-1. So good luck, Gabe Davis, with the Russ Bus or famous Jameis there in a Giants uniform. Speaking of uniforms, the saga just continues to have more layers added to it. We were receiving news that Bill Belichick's girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, has now been banned from the North Carolina facility. Keith, we know it was a crazy story before in the passing weeks that we've seen all these different dynamics come to light. But news or noise now that we get Jordan Hudson banned from the North Carolina facility?
For me, Keith Irizarry, this is noise. I could not care less about any of this. I understand that we live in like the TMZ world where everyone wants to know about everyone's love life and all this kind of stuff. I don't care. It does, like, I guess from the outside looking in, it doesn't look like the healthiest relationship after that CBS interview as well. I know the age gap makes people get very intrigued by this, but I don't know why this would be news. It is noise. It is chatter. I don't necessarily care, but with your big smile on your face, I think you think this is noise. I think you're all in on this story, aren't you?
No, I mean, it's just, again, I think about it from a former player perspective. Like, what are we doing here? You know, and again, she has inserted herself into places that she probably shouldn't have. I don't know the full dynamics of it, and I don't care to, just like you do. But more importantly, you can still get North Carolina under their season win total at even money at 7.5. And that to me is what I take out of this, is that it could be a very distracted team. It could be, you know, a situation that continues to proliferate, but you can kind of tell, I think the North Carolina brass have had enough. And so they're putting their foot down. So Jordan Hudson banned from the North Carolina football facility. A guy that has been asked to do a lot of different things just in the last couple of months is Rafael Devers. And with the recent season-ending injury, or at least it looks that way, for Tristan Cassis, now the Boston Red Sox have a vacancy day in and day out at first base. News surfacing yesterday that a conversation between their chief baseball officer, Craig Breslow, former teammate of mine, was that a conversation was had with Rafi Devers to try and persuade him to play first base. He has said that, quote, he doesn't see it in his best interest after he was already asked to switch from third base to full-time DH with Alex Bregman coming in the fold, who, by the way, is a Gold Glove third baseman. News or noise, Keith Irizarry, that yet again we got drama in the dirty water there in Beantown.
This is really big news, actually. And I came across this story last night. We were talking about it in our text thread as well, because, listen, on the surface, there are going to be people out there, Jensen, that'll say Devers is a diva. You know, if a manager or someone asks you to play a different position, you do what's best for the team. Well, when push comes to shove, Devers was the third baseman. He's no longer the third baseman. It definitely made him salty about it. He resigned himself to the fact that he was going to be a designated hitter this year. And now you're asking him to change again? I don't actually blame Devers on this one. I can understand being a little bit salty on this and to feel like, listen, this is what you sold me as a bill of goods. I'm not your third baseman. I'm your designated hitter. No, then I'm also not your first baseman. So don't try to make me play a position I don't feel like I'd be comfortable playing. I'm going to hit. This is what I'm going to do. And my hitting is going to help us win. Leave me alone.
Red Sox won their homestand finale yesterday against the Rangers. They are in Kansas City taking on arguably the hottest team here in the last couple of weeks. The Kansas City Royals will send Michael Lorenzen to the mound. Hunter Dobbins gets a start for Boston. Total there of 9, shaded a bit to the under. The Red Sox a slight road favorite at minus $1.18. By the way, if you want to get all the splits for not only bet percentage, handle percentage, all that real-time data and know where the real money is going, we highly recommend you jump on as a VSiN.com pro subscriber. Unlike other books or other sources, we get those live looks from the books, from Circa, from DraftKings, more of those pro bets coming in at Circa, and then you get a broader market perspective from DraftKings. You see the real-time percentage of bets versus percentage of handle on every game across every major sport. And right now, we're giving you VSiN's exclusive betting splits for as little as $9.99 for your first month at VSiN.com. So go to VSiN.com/subscribe. Again, $9.99 for your first month to get those exclusive betting splits. We will talk with Lou Finicaro coming up here at the top of the hour to get a preview of UFC 315. To put a bow on this Boston story, again, I picked the Red Sox to win the East. I still feel that they are the best positioned, not only from a lineup perspective, but I do think that this front office will go get some pitching. You're in the New York area. Is there still buy-in that the Yankees will make moves that they need to, even though they've been off to a really good start?
Yeah, I think both the Yankees and the Mets are going to be jockeying for bullpen arms as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline. Both of them feel like they can win a World Series this year, or at least get to a World Series, and that's kind of the hole that they need to fill.
Both the Mets and the Yankees plus 850 to win the World Series. So if you like either of those teams right now, good prices potentially to jump on. Always a good time when we have our great friend Lou Fittacaro. He joins us next to preview all things UFC 315. Of course, we got to ask him a little bit about some college baseball. Lou is up next here on VSiN by the Books.